Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Sherrone Moore making it official, naming Alex Orji the starting quarterback heading into week 4 against USC. I think I speak for a lot of Michigan fans. As a Michigan fan myself, I think we're all really excited to see what Alex Orji can do in this Michigan offense. And I think at the end of the day, you look at the offense, and if you're a Michigan fan that has watched every single snap of this Michigan offense the first 3 weeks, something needed to change if you want to have a chance to go out and compete for a Big Ten championship, compete for a college football playoff spot, and compete to win 10 plus football games. Right. The offense that we've seen the first 3 weeks hasn't been good enough. You can't win on a consistent basis with that kind of offense. But I think more importantly, what I'm most excited for with Alex Orji and for the Michigan fans who've been rocking with the boys the last couple of weeks and months as we've talked about this quarterback battle, I've always been an Alex Orji guy. Yes, we have question marks about what he can do as a downfield passer. In fact, we know that Alex Orji is not going to be a quarterback that throws the football 40 times a game for an 80% completion percentage. We know that. But you kind of look at how this Michigan team, specifically on offense, is structured. There's been a lot of resources put in terms of developing offensive linemen, recruiting offensive linemen, obviously recruiting and developing running backs. That's where the strength of this Michigan team is. And you look at how Michigan wants to win football games, run the football, control the time possession, and play good defense. Heck, that's what this Michigan offense looked like in 2023, even when we had a top 10 NFL draft pick at quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. What quarterback gives us the best chance to look like that and win football games with that kind of recipe? We always kind of thought it would be Alex Orji. Now, how two-dimensional is this Michigan offense going to be? I think that's kind of the conversation in terms of how good this Michigan offense can be with Alex Orji. But at the end of the day, you look at Michigan trying to implement a downfield passing attack. One, I don't think there is a J.J. McCarthy in this quarterback room. I think just as important to that conversation outside of Colson Loveland, where are the difference makers down the field for this Michigan offense? Like, we like a guy like Samaj Morgan, we like Tyler Morris, but they're not necessarily vertical wide receivers that want to stretch the football field. So even with Davis Warren at quarterback, Michigan was still seeing loaded boxes. They were still running into 7, 8 man boxes. We were pretty one dimensional, even with Davis Warren at quarterback, because it was very apparent that Texas did not really fear what Michigan could do in this passing attack, even with Davis Warren at quarterback. So you might as well go with the quarterback that can do an exceptional job helping you run the football. And I think another really interesting conversation is I think the offense is already installed for Alex Orji, because you go back to the spring, I think the full expectation for Sherrone Moore and Kirk Campbell was Alex Orji was going to be the starting quarterback. So this is not like, hey, we got to flip the offense on its head in 5, 6 days and then go play USC. I think largely this offense with Alex Orji, it's already been installed. And so I think a lot of Michigan fans are excited to see what Alex Orji can do. He's obviously just going to be a fun football player to watch as a Michigan fan. Want to get into a couple of important conversations. One, what does the offense look like with Alex Orji? Talk about how two-dimensional this offense can be, but more importantly, kind of dive into what Alex Orji brings this Michigan offense. Now, before we get into it, as always, to the Michigan fans, it's been a blast talking this for the last couple of weeks, and we kind of got I think what would be, hopefully for Michigan fans, the final answer. Hopefully Alex Orji named starting quarterback, has some success, starts the rest of the season. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, let it fly in the comment section. We've been talking about this for weeks. We'd love to hear how you guys are feeling. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I think you got to start with the package that they're going to put around Alex Orji. I'm on Twitter. I'm on the message boards. Follow you, a lot of you guys on Twitter and in the message boards. And I think the biggest conversation is, what does this offense look like? And quite frankly, I'm with a lot of you guys. Like, I would like to see a lot of 2 running back sets. And kind of, if we are going to run the football probably a little bit more than we are even doing with Davis Warren at quarterback, you got to make sure you're running the football in different ways, right? We're already going to be pretty predictable in terms of running the football. This is going to be a run-heavy offense, but you got to have different ways you want to run the football. And I think there's a lot of different ways you can do it, right? You got 2, 3 really good running backs, right? Donnie Edwards, Kalel Mullings, but I would throw in Benjamin Hall as well. You have a tight end, H-back, fullback, Max Bredesen, that can certainly get it done at the second level in blocking. You've thrown in some heavy set 6 offensive lineman formations. Obviously, Alex Orji gives you a lot of creativity in terms of how you want to get him involved in the run game. If you're going to run the football 60+% of the time, you got to make sure that you're running it in a lot of different ways. Because if you're going to be predictable running the football, which Michigan's going to be, you got to make sure you're not predictable in terms of how you're running the football. So I think that's number one. I think number two, we have to be two-dimensional. We said this even before Alex Orji or Davis Warren were named the starting quarterback. There's got to be some element of a passing game. Now, what does that look like for Alex Orji? We obviously saw Alex Orji have an opportunity to get Freddie Moore kind of vertical there. Missed the throw. I think that comes on Alex Orji, probably overthrew the football. Freddie Moore probably pulled up on the route. And I think that has a lot to do with the lack of chemistry that Alex Orji and Freddie Moore were not able to develop over the last couple of weeks because Davis Warren was the guy taking most of the reps with the offensive one. So I think just from a pure chemistry standpoint, you might see that cleanup. I think it's also important to recognize that, look, we haven't seen Alex Orji throw the football much, but when he's been asked to throw the football, he's been coming in spot duties, cold off the bench, not really in rhythm of the game. I think you could see him be a little bit more of an accurate passer as he's kind of the guy, and he's played 4 quarters, and he's kind of has a little bit more rhythm in terms of how he's throwing the football. And I think secondly, you got to figure out how you want to throw it. Yes, I want there to be an element of that vertical passing attack because we're going to see, you can bet your money that USC is going to be walking up a safety all game. There's going to be a lot of single high safeties, which means there's going to be a lot of opportunity to push the ball vertically down the field. There has to be some sort of element there. And when, excuse me, the opportunity does present itself, we have to be able to hit some of those throws on a consistent basis. And so I think that's the one question mark is what does Alex Orji look like pushing the ball down the field? But I think secondly, getting Alex Orji outside the pocket, I think that's when you've seen him play his best. He's obviously a very, very good athlete, throwing on the run, giving him some easy kind of perimeter throws to get him into the rhythm of the football game, I think certainly matters as well. But I think most importantly, what I'm most excited for is this Michigan team is going to be able to run the football much more effectively with Alex Orji. So most importantly, we're going to stay on schedule a little bit more. I think the biggest problem with Davis Warren at quarterback was, look, we ran the football on first and second down, but not a ton of success. We were in third and long lots, and that is going to kill this Michigan offense. And so with Alex Orji at quarterback facilitating that run game a little bit more effectively, I think this Michigan team will be able to stay on schedule a little bit more, methodically move the football down the field, and obviously control the time possession. We know that this Michigan defense is going to be pretty dang good, but they can't play 60, 70 snaps a game. And so Alex Orji kind of limiting the possessions, methodically working the football down the field, kind of like Michigan went undefeated last year, like just kind of squeezing out teams. That's kind of what you want it to look like. And I think the recipe is there for Alex Orji. Now, to kind of get into why I think Alex Orji, just really quick, in terms of why Alex Orji helps this run game, you look at this 3rd and 3 play where we're going to run just a little read here. And I think most importantly, having the threat of Alex Orji keeping this football, look what it does to this unblocked edge defender, right? A little inside zone play where we're working Evan Link up to the linebacker. With Davis Warren at quarterback, this edge defender is crunching down on Khalil Mullings every single time. But you take a look at with Alex Orji having the threat to pull that football in that read option, he's not crunching down. A lot of space that's created for Khalil Mullings, a lot of space that will be created for Donovan Edwards to get upfield and attack vertically. And so, again, I think this Michigan offense, because of the presence of Alex Orji, not only running the football himself, but having the presence to actually run it, going to create some space for the rest of these Michigan running backs. And again, when Donnie Edwards getting space, we know good things can happen. Look, I don't know much what to expect. I don't think a lot of Michigan fans know what to expect, but at least it's going to be different. And I think it leans into what Michigan's strong suits are on the offensive side of the football. We'll close it out there. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.